What's up guys, Speed here, and today I'm talking about something that I think a lot of players have asked me the question of, what do you do as a carry or a mid laner when you really want to farm but you feel like you also have to have impact, right? How do you actually farm in these situations when your team wants to be making plays or move around the map, especially when they're doing well and quote-unquote snowballing, right? How do you keep the snowball going without sacrificing your farm and always being in position to fight? Now in this game, Na'Vi actually dodges a lot. They have some of the best high ground defense in Dota, some of the best tower defense in Dota. At that, right, you look at their team comp, they have Treant, Lich, Underlord, even TA traps and Drought multi-shot is absolutely obnoxious to push into. So how does a hero like Gyrocopter that typically struggles against this sort of like deep push and chip deal with this, right? How does he continue farming when his team is trying to apply pressure, considering no one dumpstered mid, right? We're going to pay attention to that and try to learn about it together. If you're interested in seeing me, your boy Speed, play Invoker, I'm going to be making an episode soon on the main gameleap website of me playing Invoke. I have around 100 games on the hero, so I'm not like complete trash, but it's been a while. I'm a bit stale, so we did our best. Maybe I got dumpstered by a Kunkka, maybe I did not, but regardless, click the link down below to check out the main website. I'm making a lot of videos over there as well as the videos you see here on YouTube. So check it out, and I'll see you there. So the first very important play comes up soon. I want to talk about this because this goes all the way back, couple thousand years ago when we talked about this concept, the dead lane concept. What does that actually mean and when does it apply? Well, the main thing I want to talk about and focus on in this video is, what do we see in the minimap right now? It is currently 8 minutes in, right? We see no one on the side of Na'Vi, and we see that VP is hardcore in the enemy jungle. They are so deep, right? What does this mean for Epileptic Kid? I can't say his name, holy. However, what does this mean for him? It means that he's probably getting ganked, right? It's that simple, right? So, okay, they see the TA, he's like, all right, maybe I have a little bit more time in this lane. In addition, they even actually go on the Underlord. But a little bit later on, you're going to see the same situation come up. And what does this mean for him? It means he's most likely going to be ganked, right? You become the #1 priority as a safe laner, considering you're going to be relatively underleveled compared to a mid laner. It's much harder to gank mid laners typically. They're more mobile, they're tankier, and they're a higher level, so it's harder to gank them. So typically a hero like a Gyrocopter is the #1 target for the enemy team. He identifies this, looks at the map, and when VP once again makes their shift to the top lane, he gets out, which we're going to see coming up here soon. And right here is the exact situation I'm talking about. Na'Vi recently just killed the Treant, which means a couple things. It means that Treant will most likely be looking at his map and looking for a new place to play, right? He has to be very careful and thoughtful about where he actually goes next. And as a result, Gyro makes sure he gets out right away. He just gets out. So he just starts taking these stacks. And this is something you can do on a ton of carries. A lot of heroes farm this area very effectively. For most of the carries that can only take your basic neutral camps, there's now 3 in this triangle for Radiant, right? For Dire, it's a little bit different. You have the Ancients in that area, but overall, it's one of those things where, especially if you're playing on Radiant, you have this option to just get out and avoid this bottom potential gank, right? Where's the vision for VP right now? They do technically have one lane ward bottom, which was protecting him earlier on, but now at this point in the game, he needs to generally play around his team so that he does not die. As a carry player, I can't even express how many times it will be 8 to 11 minutes in, and I'm playing hardcore top with my team as the mid laner, and my safe laner is just a lone chillin' bottom, and 9 times out of 10 they get ganked. I just always think to myself, what is the reason for this? Guys, the jungle is not that bad once you have items. It's not much slower than the lane. Now, taking both is optimal, but dying is not optimal. And as a result, he gets out and starts just flash farming through. In addition, because he's a Gyrocopter in particular, he even looks to make a play on Magical here. The play doesn't end up working out as Magical has a trap, but overall, as you can see, he is farming and moving around the map with his team, right? Look what his team did. They kicked them out to the bottom, right? Because this was the overall movement of VP. Look at the minimap. They kicked them out to bottom, correct? They made a line like this. They kicked them out to bottom, and as a result, the opposite direction becomes safe, right? Opposite direction becomes safe. And so that's exactly what he takes, right? He takes the opposite direction of where his team went. In addition, they have a ward on the top side there, making it overall safer. In addition, what I want to say, and I know this has probably been said a million times, but jungle items are a thing now. They're simply a thing. He has an arcane rune and a poor man shield in his backpack as a result, and this arcane rune gives him a lot of mana throughout the early game. It is just another reason why jungling overall, as heroes especially that can flash farm, is much better, right? His team is all bottom. Does that mean he has to be right next to them? No. So if you're Spectre or you're PL, or even if you're Slark or Gyro on heroes that you feel like can fight very effectively, it does not always mean you have to fight with them. If they expect you to carry the game and scale, you need to scale. Now, why in the world would he need to scale in a game like this? Let's look at it. Viper scales pretty well. He does. What's the problem about trying to not scale against the Na'Vi lineup and trying to just run it down and run them over? Look at their heroes. Look at their high ground defense. Look at their split push. One Q from Underlord kills a wave. Lich can even kill waves, even with his ulti. TA obviously kills a gajillion waves. Drow, same thing, multi-shot. Treant, his Q. It's one of those things where if they try to push and just run around, they will get split up, Na'Vi will start getting farm, and they will have no one as their backup policy. And as a result, I love his play here. It's safe, and it's reliable, and I think more people should do this in pubs. It's like, okay, my team kicked them out of top, I will now go farm top. And this will happen a lot, even in pubs. Don't be like, oh, this is a pro game speed, so it never happens. Things happen similar to this. In fact, they'll be even more obvious, or there'll be even more space if you really look for it and are good at paying attention to the minimap, which is why I'm trying to stress this to you. Become best friends with your minimap. And really, he's just kind of ran through this farming pattern, right? Once again, why does he now retreat into the jungle? Specifically now, right? What do we see now? We don't know where Na'Vi is. We have no clue. And as a result, now he retreats. Finally, he retreats. Other than that, though, he's farming through the enemy jungle, right? Because it's more efficient. It's going to deny far from them if they're, trailing him, and he can push in their waves, because if you're playing here, what's the problem about playing here, right? Overall, if we zoom out, what's the problem? There's no wave nearby, but if you kill this camp, and then this camp, there's a wave right here 9 times out of 10, or if you kill this camp, there might be a wave here. And it's great, and that is why playing on the enemy side of the map, if you have the option as a safe laner, can be great, because it enables you to not only jungle, but also take lanes at the same time, which, as I said before, is the best way to get farmed. And frankly, he's kind of keep doing the same thing. Like, I really, guys, I want you to understand, sometimes to become or play like a pro in a match, you don't have to do a gajillion things. You don't have to go 10-0. You have to be consistent and execute on what your role is. He is doing what he needs to do, right? Is it perfect? I have no idea. No one knows what perfect is. But is it relatively good for what his team and what the outcome of the game seemingly will become? Yes, I would definitely say so. The next thing I want to say briefly about jungling, and I've seen a lot of carry players, mid laners, off laners mess this up. Guys, make sure you're buying a lot of regen and using your spells to farm. If you don't do this, you will never get to the efficiency of a high-level player. You will always, if you are any sort of MMR below Immortal, you will not get to their efficiency if you are not using your spells, stacking, timers, all of these things that enable you to flash up your farm. Like, look at this sequence here. He is doing everything in his power to amp farm. He has an arcane rune from jungling. He has a bunch of small items that amp up his farm because they give him more mana regen, right? Overall, even wand gives mana. He has a clarity going, right, guys? He buys clarities. If you're not buying clarities, you're a psycho on heroes like this. And finally, he makes a stack. I mean, this is just the overall example of what efficiency is. For players like this, it becomes natural, but for you, you need to train it, right? If this isn't what you're doing or you're not that close to it, you need to train it, right? And now look at his efficiency. Camp straight into the mid wave. And why does he know this is safe? Well, he sees people bottom and he sees TA in the top jungle. He's constantly looking at the minimap and it reflects based on his rotations, right? Why did he ping here? Because he saw 2 heroes rotating in from the bottom side. So he's like, oh, maybe we can kill them. But then he realizes, my team's not in position, so he doesn't do it, right? A lot of players, they would have walked up the hill, insta-died. Why? Because they weren't not looking at the map. They would have died to the Lich and the Drow walking through. And as you can see here, his team wanted to make a little bit of a movement, so he rotated over. They got the tower, and he's like, oh, I guess I was kind of late. What does he do? He kills the next wave. That's it. He simply just goes and kills the next wave. It's so simple, guys. Sometimes, like, as a carry, when I'm watching carries, I just don't understand why they don't push out more waves. I was even playing a game recently, ranked match, and this carry player was down 2 in my match. And that's not low, right? It's not low, but it's much lower than the average MMR of a match I will typically play in. And he just wasn't ever pushing in waves, and it completely disables our ability to not only flash farm, but also disables our ability to actually make plays around the map. The next thing I want to mention is how to actually know when to fight. This is the main tip I can give you on when to fight, so take this in, really internalize this, guys. Please, internalize this. This is going to help you a ton, whether or not you're any sort of role. If you are trying to farm and fight, the best way to do both is pay attention to when the enemy team dives. That is the #1 way that I've observed a ton of games, and whenever players pay attention to this and take advantage of it, they can continue snowballing and they can fight, right? So in this case, he pushed out a top wave. He's like, oh, Na'Vi, they're diving top. It comes close to guaranteeing that if he TPs, he'll have impact. Now, he was a bit late, right? It was a bit of a late TP, and as a result, Na'Vi sort of gets out. But especially in pubs, people are not very diligent about paying attention to their surroundings. Not only that, if you TP a little bit earlier when you initially see the dive, and once they've committed in, you will get kills and be able to fight and farm. In addition, gank work doesn't work out. What does he do? Just kills the nearby camps. I can't stress this enough, guys. When ganks and spellcasting does not work, please just get back to farming. Get back to farming. You can't have downtime. Right? You can't have downtime, and that's the reason why you have to buy things like stats. Like, I see players not buying items like Bassi and Clarities, and I'm like, you're not playing the game correctly, because if you were, or close to correctly, because if you were, you would need these items. You would need them to function. I question people who don't run out of mana, because I'm like, why are you never running out of mana? It doesn't mean you're good at conserving your mana. It doesn't. It means you're never using any spells. In the case where they're constantly 3/4 or full mana, it's okay to be like obviously 100 or something like this. You know what I mean? You know, that's you don't want to be 0. Right, you definitely do not want to be consistently 0, because then if a fight breaks out, you're done for, because you need mana for both. But as you can see here, they're ahead, they're snowballing, but he can't actually make a play. So what does he do? He just rotates out the bottom and tries to find this drow who is jungling in the area. Doesn't find the drow, kills some nearby camps. Do you see how his mind works, guys? I'm just trying to get you inside the head of a pro. It's like, okay, I try to make a play doesn't work out, I kill a camp. Now, in addition to that, you have to understand, like, why is he going bottom? It's not as simple as, oh, you just kill the closest camp. He's going bottom, he didn't just wipe through the enemy jungle. That's because he wants to, once again, now at this point in the mid game, he wants to push in the wave so his team can make plays. Him pushing this in lets them make a clean rotation from mid to the tier 2. Now he ends up dying here, you know, by just a great play from Na'Vi. I mean, I think most people would be shocked if they get smoke ganked when their team is here from an enemy from here. This just will not happen in your pubs. It will not. So do not say that, oh, but I'm gonna get ganked, Speed. If you're looking at the map and your team is here and you're here, there is a almost 0% chance you'll get ganked. But this is a pro match, so he does. Regardless, they get return kills for it, so not really the end of the world. As for Sage debated in all chat. Regardless, all I'm trying to say is, when you're trying to become a efficient carry player, mid player, what you need to do is you need to consider, are the fights I'm taking based around waves? Are they based around something useful, like, you know, Roshan or taking over map control? Or am I just running around trying to kill everyone I see on the map? Am I getting in the creep waves so that I can get vision and then kill people around towers? Or am I using smokes to make moves with my team? Or am I just running around? Are you running around? You can't run around. I hate when people run around. You need to be doing things in between the run around. No one on the Viper has 6 kills and 2 assists by the 19-minute mark and has been booking it around the map playing with his team, and yet he still has 150 CS by 19 minutes. Why is this possible? Because if we looked through his entire gameplay, when he's moving from area to area, he will kill a camp quickly. He will push in a wave quickly, right? And why, once again, I'm just going to try to really make you guys understand this. Let's say he pushes in mid and then they make a play in the enemy jungle. What is the major advantage of this, or one major advantage of this? Well, let's say the gank fails. What can he do? Go back to mid, because he shoved it in. If they shove it back out, it won't be under his tier 2, it will be around the middle of the lane, which is not very far away, and as a result, he can continue to apply pressure. Hopefully you guys see the point, right? It has, like, if we talk about pushing in waves and you really think about it, as like a gajillion uses. XP, vision, map awareness, gold, right? There's so many more, right? Ability to push towers. It's insane. It's insane. So you want to make it part of your rotations, right? Even the Centaur, this is an offlane hero, guys. Offlane hero, has been running around and ganking, has a blink dagger. What do you know? Still over 150 previous to the 20-minute mark. Why is this possible? When they are creating a lot of pressure on the map, they've been constantly running around. Constantly. Because in their downtime, they are quick to identify the open wave. This is the major thing I want to point out in this video, right? It's like, how do you know where to farm or when to farm? It's like, you need to push in the safe waves that are around your team. If you're an offlaner or a hero with units, you can, take the even harder farm if that's possible. But for the most part, the only time you jungle is when you realize there's no waves left. Why does he kill a camp here? No mid wave, no top wave, certainly not going to run bottom. Why did he take the jungle earlier? His team was pushing in top, mid was not there either, mid wave is not there, didn't want to be bottom, so he jungles. Do you kind of see how it's like wave oriented? You know what I mean? Like if this was safe and this was here, there would be a very high chance one of the heroes on VP would go to push it in so that they can invade here and potentially take this tower later on. Right, and that's the way you can basically have impact farming while essentially looking to fight. It's all about kind of orienting yourself around efficiency from going camp to camp, but then putting a higher priority on lanes and then safe jungling on the pedestal below. A couple more points to go, but I just love this. I really want to include this clip here because I just think it's so beautiful. So, obviously he's got a slack cannon going, and he's just so heads up about pushing in the waves, right? This is exactly what I was talking about. You guys see what I was saying? This was literally 30 seconds after the last point. Top was here, right? That's not very safe. They could TP on Shrine and the tier 2. Now it's here. What do you know? Shocker! He goes and kills it. In addition, he takes a camp during it as well. Even uses Rocket Barrage to clear up the camp. You can see how much of a priority these players put on this. It's out of this world, and It's something that I've noticed a lot of low MR players struggle with. You just gotta bounce, you gotta move from wave to wave. Look what happens. Team shifting bottom, wave getting pushed out by Underlord, back to jungle. You kind of see how it's not predicated on nothing. If he was able to make this play, he would make it, right? He even wanted to set up on the Underlord because he saw the enemy team bottom. It's all about the minimap. These people, they're unbelievably good at looking at the minimap, so if you can't do it and make decisions based on what you see and what you don't, you are going to struggle to get to Immortal, right? I'm not saying this is the first thing you have to learn. It's certainly part of it though. If you are a hero that, or a player that likes to play extremely greedy, and actually, you know what, I want to rephrase that guy. If you want to be someone who's efficient and stays ahead, because I hate this term greedy. I hate the fact that players just think that if you ever hit a jungle camp, or if you're ever farming, it's bad. Actually, I wish more people learned how to hit more creeps. I really dislike this idea in Dota, where it's like, everyone's so AFK hitting creeps. Maybe that works for your team comp. Maybe that's what you're supposed to be doing. Maybe you need to do more of that. I recently had a student who was just constantly, like, they'd have a good lane, they would come out of a good lane, and then they would run around and fight for 20 minutes. They would have, like, only double their CS that they got in the first 8 minutes in 20 minutes, and I'd be like, what is happening? You have more items, and more access to camps, and yet your CS has not even doubled. It doesn't work. There is a missing part to this formula, and that's what I want to bring to you here today and make you think about. I guess it's sort of been a mental note, sort of a mix between the two. But hopefully this kind of makes sense to a lot of you players. It's like this idea of I need to constantly fight when I'm ahead, or I need to just run it down lanes and push towers is so beyond ridiculous, If you want to know how VP takes the towers, I'll probably make a video upon something on this topic eventually in the future. But a big part of it is they take control of an area and kick them out. They don't just walk straight up to the tower unless they are very confident there's no way Navi defends based on things like TPs used or specific heroes. And as you can see, 42 minutes in, he has 500 CS, 5 kills, and 8 assists. A very clean score, insane amounts of CS. As you can see, he is above a Templar Assassin, which is one of the fastest farming heroes in Dota. And I wanted to bring it to you because I think a lot of people are under the misconception that fighting all the time is good. Especially when you're ahead. It's like, oh, we're ahead, might as well kill them, right? That's not necessarily true. In fact, it can be completely the other way around. The easiest way to actually snowball a game when you get ahead is to continue pushing in waves and looking for very safe kills. What would a safe kill be? A smoke, or when the enemy team is diving. Something of that sort, right? Anything else is very dangerous, and it's typically what players actually look to do, and it's the reason why they throw their matches. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you learned a lot about carrying waves and are going to start thinking about these things a lot more, let me know, because I'd be happy to hear, and I think this is one of the main topics or lessons for players to learn if they're trying to become efficient and better at being a core. Even if you're a support, for all you support players, this applies to you as well. You can do this. When I'm playing a support in a low MMR game, this is how I play. I will play very much wave focused. I'll shove in an unbelievable amount of waves so that I can keep up my net worth and continue snowballing, and that's how he snowballs on Gyro this game. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one, and peace. Are you tired of being hard stuck at your rank? Over at gameleap.com, we have a library of hundreds of guides authored by pro players and coaches covering literally every aspect of Dota. Whether you're looking to master a new hero or role, or just polish up your existing skills, GameLeap is the proven place for competitive gamers to hone their craft and unlock their secret potential. Hit the link on screen right now, to take advantage of our special offer for a 25% discount, guys. 25%, and start your journey today.